Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Fiddle. Today we're going to be cutting out the pieces to finish the structure of Madeline's house. That includes the third floor, the fourth floor, and the tower peak. And as always, don't forget to check the link in the description labeled Scavenger Hunt. That will take you to the free principal pattern so you will have all the pieces that you need to make this house. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. For the moment, we're not even going to use our pattern because there are going to be discrepancies at this stage in the build. Things are not going to line up like they should, and we need to account for that. So even though you were provided a pattern with measurements, that may not be the same as yours. To fix this problem and make sure that everything's right, we're going to take the whole second floor, turn it upside down on a piece of paper or something that's big enough, and trace it out. Originally, I traced mine out on a big piece of brown packing paper that you seen earlier Miss Frankie had decided was hers. Then I traced it onto my corrugated plastic. It's up to you if you want to trace the tower portion as well, but that will help you later on when you go to build the tower pieces. Once you have the floor all traced, you can cut it out. To help make sure that I'm keeping my lines straight, even though I can't cut straight lines, I'm using a small piece of metal that came from an electric fireplace that no longer worked. It has helped me through this whole project, and it's just a piece of scrap metal. I do wish it was a little bit wider though. Once you've gotten it cut out, turn it over because remember we did this upside down, and label it floor, and then write opening towards where the opening of the house is. This makes sure that we keep everything straight. Because I'm using corrugated plastic, I'm doubling up my layers. If you're using a wood MDF or anything like that, you probably shouldn't have to do this, but if you're using cardboard or even corrugated plastic, it's a good idea to double or triple your layers. And with corrugation, it's always a good idea to make it going the opposite directions. This does offer more stability, but it does not take out the bowing. Once you've gotten it all traced, cut it out. Okay, now we're ready for the side walls. We need 2 of these and they're exactly the same size with the peak. Along the bottom, it's 14 inches. Going up both sides, measure 12 inches, then draw a line across. Find the center point of that line, then measure up 12 inches. This is where our peak will be, and we can draw the side lines down. For the second wall, it's exactly the same, only this time we're going to add a circle window. It's completely up to you on how big this window is or where exactly you place it, as long as it is below the center line of where the peak starts. For the front wall, you have the option of either 10 or 11 inches long, and wall height will always be 12 inches. This wall also has a window, and it is completely up to you on the size that you make it. For the tower walls, we need 8 in all, and each one is 5 inches wide and 12 inches tall. 6 of these walls need large arched windows. I used a 1-inch trim all the way around, except for the top that was about 1.5 inches. For the other 2 panels, we need one with a small arch door 5 or 6 inches tall, leaving a 1-inch gap on either side. Then for the last one, we need a standard 3 by 8.5 inch doorway. Okay, now on to the roof pieces. We're going to start with the open side first, and mine is 21 inches long and 17 inches tall. The 17 inches tall should be a standard, however the 21 inches will vary depending on if you made your front wall 10 or 11 inches. If you're not for sure on the size, you can always wait until after you've pretty much got the house built to measure and cut the roof pieces. That's what I actually had to do. I had to build most of the house in order to figure out what the roof would be. For the second roof panel, it will be the same size as the first one, mine being 21 by 17. Yours, again, will be different. You will need to cut a notch out of the bottom of it to account for the tower. However, don't cut that notch out until, like I said, after you know what your measurements will be, so you know where to cut it. Okay, now the next few pieces are for the gaps in the tower. Because our walls are 12 inches tall and the floor has not been accounted for in the height, we're going to make some octagon rings that can hold it in place. Each of the inside lines needs to be the 5 inches, just like our tower. Then we want to measure from that 5-inch line outwards an inch on all the sides. And you will have to double or triple these layers so that way you can get the right thickness to fill in the gap. And we need 2 sets of these rings for the first floor and the second floor. For the third floor, it's going to be different. And the last thing we need to do is cut off where it meets up against the side of the house. And the next piece we need to cut out is the 4th floor floor. This one is 14 inches by either 15 or 16 inches. That is determined by if you added that extra inch on the front wall. In the movie, Madeline asked Jack to go up to the attic to get the school books. And I imagine because she asked him to do it, there probably isn't a direct set of stairs and that the access is in Jack's room ceiling. So I decided to go ahead and cut out the hole for that. I think I might try to make a set of drop down stairs, but that's pretty complex and I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. But I have the hole for it when I'm ready. Okay, the next 2 pieces are the tower toppers. I doubled mine and had 2 layers for each size. Once I had mine cut out and stuck together, I made another access hole. This one is just into the tower peak itself. There is no other way to get in it. And because I didn't continue the spiral stairs, I need to make a ladder that goes from the 3rd floor landing to this hole. To make everything fit together, you will have to cut a notch out of the side, but I don't know the measurements for yours. You'll have to put it together and then measure and cut. The next 3 pieces are supports for the 4th floor. They will all be 1 inch wide, 2 will need to be 14 inches long, and the other one either 15 or 16, depending on how long your wall is. And finally, the tower peak triangles. Depending on you, these could be 5 or 6 inches wide. I would say cut it 6 inches and then cut it down if you need to. They need to be at least 12 inches tall. I made mine the full length of my pieces of poster board just because I wanted a taller peak. If you want access inside of the tower, cut 1 section short. And with that, it brings us to the end of our tutorial. Next tutorial, we'll be doing the wood paneling and wallpaper. Thank you, Ginger, and I'll see you next time.